Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and that he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group? It just, when you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
So are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire.
This is the Republicans' new talking point that they have seen, likely from internal polling, that sticks with the base. Thus, Representative Tim Burchett calls Kamala Harris a DEI hire. Corporations have taken notice as well, as Higher Learning discusses.
Target, as a corporation, doesn't give a fuck about black people because Target, as a corporation, can't give a fuck about anyone. It gives a fuck about shares and bottom lines and margins and profits and all of that.
All fair points. The amount of big businesses that have rolled back initiatives is beyond troubling.
Twin Cities Pride recently announced that it's excluding Target from this year's parade and festival, scheduled to take place in June. Target is based in Minneapolis and has long been a major supporter of Pride events, visibly and financially. Late last week, the retailer announced it was rolling back its DEI programs. DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Target joined other companies dropping their DEI goals after the Trump administration started dismantling diversity programs at the federal level last week, moves applauded by many conservatives.
Now the question becomes, what do we do as a society to punish these multi-billion-dollar corporations for siding with fascists on policy?
Corporations don't have faces. Corporations don't have, what corporations are things that essentially exploit people and use people to create dollars. And when we then decide, well, what we should do to them is use them to create change, there's always somebody that lets us know how their bottom line is going to be affected.
And this appears to be the conundrum for many who make their living off of having, for example, their book or their toy being placed inside those stores. There's more from Lathan and Lindsay that will help answer this question.
This morning, the world's largest retailer says it's rolling back some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Walmart, which employs more than 1.5 million Americans, joins a list of major corporations revising DEI initiatives. The company saying every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging, to open doors to opportunities for all our associates, customers, and suppliers.
This is the single largest employer in the United States. We are talking about a company that is worth almost $1 trillion on its own.
Robbie Starbuck, a political commentator and anti-DEI activist, celebrated the development. He's previously pressured companies, including Lowe's and John Deere, to change their policies.
We were able to have frank conversations with Walmart. And as I've said for a long time, I don't ask companies to take on my political views. I am simply advocating for corporate neutrality.
Big trust me bro energy from this hack. Yeah, you don't have to take on my political views. Just favor the whites, please. Robbie Starbuck is a doofus.
To go back to the boycott that was so successful, it is because not only did they stop using the bus system, but they also supported each other within that. Are we as a people going to collectively come together and support Black businesses?
This is why this show is great. Co-host Rachel Lindsay is insightful, thoughtful, and really displays how they allow each other the space to contribute their authentic thoughts to the conversation. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
These illegal DEI and DEIA policies also threaten the safety of American men, women, and children across the nation by diminishing the importance of individual merit, aptitude, hard work, and determination when selecting people for jobs and services in key sectors of American society, including all levels of government and the medical, aviation, and law enforcement communities.
So while Trump and his cronies continue dog whistling that they despise DEI practices by companies and the government, hey, wait a minute, I thought Republicans wanted small government. Anyways.
But when you go look y'all say y'all about to boycott, but just let you know, you're gonna hurt black people when you're doing this. That to me is thinking a little bit too small. And honestly, that's the type of thinking that over the last, particularly 40 years, post-civil rights, post-Black power, that has morphed, to me, Black American politic from a very direct set of structures and a very direct set of goals that address life in America to this belief that economic viability is the end-all, be-all to American success. That this belief that there's no sense of power other than wealth and power. There's no sense of power other than who you can be on a boat with or your name being in lights. And that just makes it into a race. It makes it into this big ball of capitalism that has nothing to do with enshrining freedoms through law, has nothing to do with understanding systemic disparity and inequality. It has nothing to do with any of that. It just has to do with who's doing good and how we want to keep them doing good. And if anybody got to do bad so that we do better, then we can't really have a conversation.
Lathan puts it bluntly to his audience.
That's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off, and I feel better now thinking about that.
You want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
This guy. I mean it, this guy. But think about how the conversation has evolved. MAGA is questioning the qualifications of black and brown folks because of the color of their skin, yet enable a guy who has zero qualifications to take the oval. Meanwhile, on the other side,
having a conversation where we start and we're operating from the framework that we can't do it without Target is just the
totally understand.
It's just the wrong way to look at it. What we should be saying is we can't do it without freedom and respect for who we are. We can't do it without companies that are using black dollars to meet their bottom line, but don't care about the black people that they are serving. We can't do it without respect. We can't do it without dignity. We can't do it without investment. We can't do it about any of that stuff.
Reframing the conversation was wise, very wise from Lathan, because it shows the moral principles he upholds. For more from this highly underrated show, check out Higher Learning's YouTube page, where they upload full podcasts and clips. Their full audio pod on Spotify, Instagram, of course, and TikTok for short form. Please support their work. They are awesome.
Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision. Bing, flag, footballs become soft.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Like, let's not beat around the bush about it.